Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I was just going to do a quick video on installing the ZWO EAF on my new Sharpstar 94 EDPH, or, well, any similar scope. So let's get to it. Okay, so I've taken the scope out of its tube ring, put down a soft cloth on the table just because you're going to have to turn it over so you don't want to scratch anything. Let's open up the EAF box. Let's see what's inside. Maybe just the motor, bracket, and some hardware. They do give you 4 different adapters. Depending on the shaft size on your focuser, you'll have to pick the corresponding one to go with it. So we'll start by removing the side with your coarse focus only. You want to leave your fine and coarse focus side intact. That way, if you need to, you can always disconnect your EAF and still have both coarse and fine focus. So let's do that. Just an Allen screw in here, break it loose. That should slide right off. Don't lose this, you hang on to it. So then we have to find the adapter that's going to fit on this shaft right here. You can see there's a different size hole on each end. And that one is a little too big. That is the one right there. So we'll use this one. You'll notice there is a flat spot in the shaft right here. You want to make sure that one of your lockdown screws lines up on that flat spot, just to help hold it in place. You'll also want to keep a little space in between the adapter and the body of the focuser, otherwise you could end up making some weird grinding noises as the focuser's working, and you don't really want that. We'll tighten up the first screw on that flat spot. Just like that. And give it a spin on the other side just to make sure that it's not going to touch the body of the focuser. And everything looks good there. Tighten up the second screw. Now you want to make sure these are fairly tight in there. Don't force it too much, but you want to make sure they're very snug. I have seen these kind of strip a little bit in the field, especially with temperature change. So you don't want to be trying to do this in the dark. Okay, then we have our bracket. So on the Sharpstar series focusers, you can see the outside holes here will be the ones that we'll be attaching the bracket to. So you can get your screws started, but don't tighten anything down yet. Leave everything loose. There should also be a washer underneath these. Just like that. There are, as with many pieces of Astro gear, a few extra screws and sometimes washers that come with this stuff. Make sure you keep them. It's always good to have a little box of leftover junk because you never know when you're going to need it. So then we're going to take our focus motor, make sure these screws are loosened off. We'll insert that right there. Again, you don't want to butt it right up against the face of the motor. You want to leave a little gap in there just to make sure nothing's going to rub. And tighten down your set screws. So this is why I said leave everything loose. On this one, the focus motor is a little further out, so there is a center hole on this focuser, and I will be using that for the other lockdown screw. So slide it right up against the face of your focuser. Then you can use the two larger screws to attach the focuser to the bracket. So then you'll use your other two screws and washers to attach the bracket to the face of the focuser. And again, leave them loose for now. You want to make sure everything is sitting square before you tighten everything down. There, so now that you have everything in place, you take a look and make sure that nothing is too far out of line. Then you're going to go ahead and tighten down your two bolts on the focuser. Again, you want to make sure they're fairly snug. Don't want to have this loosen off and have to deal with it in the dark. So then you're going to go ahead and tighten up these two. And there we have it. Pretty easy to install. Everything looks good, and we should be good to go.